beautiful medium of anime, just like a colony of Lego pieces building up a castle, there are various components that come together to create this magical viewing experience. One of the most crucial being voice acting. Whether you're 10 years old, 20, 150 ashes, or negative 0.5, if you're a Japanese person, you know what a seiyu is. You turn on YouTube, there's a seiyu. You turn on the TV, there's a seiyu. You walk out your house, it's a seiyu school ad. You meet your 12-year-old cousin, she's a seiyu! You can't escape it! Seiyu is the Japanese word for voice actor, and if you're an avid fan of anime, then congratulations, you already greatly appreciate their work, albeit perhaps unknowingly. Founded approximately 100 years ago, the seiyu industry has rapidly grown over time and has reached an unfathomable level of popularity in Japan today. When most of us hear the word voice actor, I think we connect their work to voicing anime, but in Japan, they're 50 years ahead. Singing, dancing, modeling, radio, university, culture festival talks, playing fake golf? It's like they took the word voice, set it on fire, and blew it up 500 meters underwater. Seiyu has grown so far past simply voice acting, and as a result, has developed an enormous culture around it. So today, I'd like to take a deep dive into the world of Seiyu and introduce the absolute beauty and charm it holds. The first thing I want you to do is throw away any image of the English voice acting industry you have in mind, because these two are completely different worlds. While on the English side, you might see voice actors messing around on stream, meeting fans at conventions, committing self-career genocide on Twitter, the seiyu industry is far more, for a lack of better words, official? Legitimate? As an industry, if that makes sense. I think it'd almost be more right to see them as traditional celebrities, at least by the professional way they act on social media. Actually, scratch that, that's an insult to Seiyuu. Western celebrity Twitter is a goddamn popcorn-worthy war zone. But yeah, you get the idea. As if the equivalent of the Hollywood acting scene, the Seiyu profession is taken as a very serious and respected job. I want you to keep this in mind as I explain everything. According to this story on PR Times, Seiyu was the third most replied answer when children were asked what their dream job was. That alone should indicate the difference in popularity. I randomly googled the stats for America and it's like, voice actor? What's that? You asking your vocal cords to act? Oh, like Chris Pratt! Just quickly checking Twitter, the big Seiyu have over 1 million followers. Think about it. With a much lower upper limit due to the number of people who can actually speak Japanese, this number is still bigger than many YouTubers with millions of subs and worldwide popularity. It is insane. Then there's the Seiyu Awards, a yearly awards show that rewards the best of performances, the top of the top, and it's very legitimate. They're going in formal wear. It's kinda like the Crunchyroll Awards. Except they matter! And did I mention the specialized schools they have everywhere for Seiyu training? Yes, it's an actual course. People go there and train for years. Some after graduating high school and some starting as young as middle school. People go through a real-life training arc here. You too can become Tanjiro and fight with a punctured lung as long as you train. The point I'm trying to convey here is, this is a very established industry and many people in Japan truly do see it as an actual highly respected career. It is leagues ahead of how voice acting is perceived in any other country. But how did it get to this point? How did we have screaming into a mic be a profession before the existence of ear rape YouTube? It's time for a very brief look at some history. The origins of the field known as Seiyu all begins with credit to a single man, Thomas Edison. What? He invented the phonograph. We needed to record audio somehow. So thank Big Daddy Thomas for all your anime and hentai, you weebs. The practical usage of these devices gave birth to the era of radio dramas in Japan, where in 1925, NHK established a radio program called Dwak. Like the sound a choking bird makes when it dies. Dwak. This was quickly followed by the voice performance of the silent film, Daichi wa Hohoemu, a mere month later, in which the Seiyu Masao Inoue and Sumiko Kurishima, or I guess technically actors at the time, are credited as Japan's first Seiyu. In the following decades, radio drama quickly gained popularity as a form of entertainment, not just with adults but also with children over time. NHK started having actual training and debut for people as so-called radio drama actors in 1941 to 1943, and it was about this time that the term Seiyu was born and started to be used. Some people started to see the love Seiyuu were receiving, the fan letters they were getting, and started looking up to them, wanting to become one themselves, causing a surge in the Seiyuu application as a whole in the 1950s. But with supply needs to come with it demand. Luckily, we had our favorite people to create demand and help root the beginnings of anime voice acting. White people. See, there was suddenly a huge rise in the need for Japanese dubbing of Western films and dramas, so the natural direction Seiyuu looked towards was dubbing. After this just came a snowball effect that never looked back, with waves of boom after boom of Seiyuu popularity. The first actual anime, Astro Boy, came out in 1963. Japan had some copyright law reform that has probably aged worse than Vine's life expectancy. The formation of Seiyuu events, Seiyuu doing music, idol Seiyuu, a legitimate Seiyuu organization, and many more aspects of the modern Seiyuu culture everyone knows and loves today came into existence one by one. I could go over all the small events leading up to the entire culture's virality, but that would turn this video into a history video, and let's be honest, you don't want me to fucking read off a Wikipedia article like a university professor. I'm not 60 yet, come on now! If you're interested, I do highly recommend you to look into the entire history of Seiyuu. There were many different actors, radio hosts, anime, and much more that built the culture up to what it is today. And by that, I mean read the Wikipedia article. But for now, it's time to talk about the modern activities of Seiyuu. Everything but voice acting. A voice actor's main job is to voice act. Or so you would think until you realize that firefighters don't just fight fire. There are so many forms of entertainment that you can get out of Seiyuu, so in this section, I'm gonna go through most of them and shill everything like the simp that I am. I may start to sound like a cult leader, but it's okay. I'm not a cult leader, bro, trust me. Just sign the papers to the cult of Chisato. Singing is one of, if not the most prominent Seiyuu activity, and yeah, fair enough, it's not hard to see why. Voice acting is just vibrating your vocal cords. Singing is also just vibrating your vocal cords. Breaking your neck is also just vibrating your vocal cords. And an important aspect of voice acting is being able to sing in character. You know, those anime that like having the characters sing the opening and endings. Gotobun, Eminence of Shadow, Bocchi the Rock, and every single fucking idol anime, like that. Then you also have the far more obscure character songs. Special songs that usually come with the Blu-ray. Yeah, I bet a bunch of you fake fans didn't even know about some of your favorite characters singing specialized songs about their personality, feelings, growth, or this. Did you know Chisato also sings? She's fucking good too. God, I love Chisato. This may seem insignificant as it's not even relevant to the show when it's airing, Blu-rays don't even sell that much, and frankly, a lot of people don't even seem to know about its existence. But I really like how it gives some characters an extra layer of emotions and depth. It's one of the biggest selling points for superfans of franchises to buy Blu-rays like dumbasses in 2022. I mean, these superfans are probably the ones eating money left and right anyway. It's okay to scam them a bit, I think. Maybe? Fuck, I'm being scammed. Besides, if you like the character, you probably like their voice, and if you like their voice, why wouldn't you want to hear them sing? Like me, you like my voice, right? Wherever you are! It doesn't stop here though. Some anime, especially more popular ones, have full-on special events. Attack on Titan just had a huge one where they had a full orchestra play the banger OST, and of course, Seiyuu are invited on stage. Things can range from talking about the anime, live voice acting, playing games related to the anime, or just being fucking clowns. And of course, singing is involved. Not all of the anime. Erin's not gonna sing about killing every last one of the musical style, don't worry. But anime like Gotobun straight up have the Seiyuu sing live on stage as part of the event, sometimes fully in costume too. Blend W, I mean Blend S, had a full-on performance as well. It was legitimately 99% faithful, just lacked Snoop Dogg. And one more thing I have to mention is, they're good. They're really fucking good. This is not a random side thing. These Seiyuu have to be able to sing live on stage at a professional level, in not even their own natural voice, but their character's voice. Just listen to the different variations of Kito Akari's singing. It's absolutely incredible. As you may have just noticed though, singing is not just limited to in-character singing. Some seiyu who are particularly good at singing debut as full-fledged artists, pull an Uno reverse card and end up singing anime OP and EDs. Many of the big popular seiyu have full-on albums upon albums, and god damn, if you are already a fan of their voice, is this an endless Christmas treat. As a quick introduction, all of the Gotobun seiyu except Yotsuba have their own music. Kito Akari is a queen amongst men with insane rock music. Rie Takahashi makes I Love Emilia a legitimate statement. Sora Amamiya is a useful song goddess that probably, hopefully, I think wears panties. And Sora Amamiya Mamma Mia, Aoi Yuki has drip.
She sells seashells on a seashore.
These are only a select few of the many seiyu that have their own personally produced music. Even a lot of the smaller, rather unknown seiyu have singles and albums out. Oh, and no, it's not just singing artists. They have full-on live concerts with full-on bands pretty frequently. The artist's identity is not a side thing, it's a second fucking career. Even if they're not officially artists, any moderately popular seiyu probably has videos of them covering at least a dozen different songs, whether it's for some show, radio, TV program, something. I think you can see why singing is such an essential part of being a seiyu now. It's so intertwined in the culture with everything they do that they kind of have to be able to sing. Obviously some better than others, but nobody can remotely be described as bad. Amongst this crowd of talent, there has always been one seiyu artist that stood out to me personally. Kusunoki Tomori. You might know her as the voice of Len from SAOGGO, Misha from Demon King Academy, and more recently, Makima from Chainsaw Man. There are many seiyu with incredible music, but many would still see them as seiyu who also happen to be really good artists. Kusunoki Tomori is different in my eyes. She is a naturally talented musician, having composed and written many of her own songs from her teenage years all the way up to her most recent works. Her love for music is as clear as day. Differing from many generic J-pop or rock-styled songs, all of her music has this very unique, very personal style to it. Lyrics are so much more than the ordinary I love you or I want to be stronger and feel layered with deep thoughts, clearly the result of somebody navigating and conveying a complex labyrinth of emotions. And this is because it is. She's talked about how some of her songs written in her teenage years were used to let out her feelings, frustrations on her radio. Listening to her music feels like a deep dive into a person's heart, and it truly tugs something within me. The sheer quality in both classy composition and poetic writing should already be telling of all the love she genuinely has for music. But if that's not enough, she literally has a full radio program fully dedicated to introducing amazing artists to the world, with music requests from listeners and some from herself. I adore all of her music so much, and I haven't even gotten to the best part: the concerts. This girl, I swear, is not just a better singer than a live CD player, but also has more artistic sense than Leonardo da fucking Vinci. There is always a theme around every single concert. It truly transcends just going on stage and singing. It feels like walking through an art gallery of music. Obviously there's no footage now, but in the most recent concert, Ring Gleam, the entire concert was based off, well, a gleaming ring. Different parts of the stage would glow in the form of a ring in response to the music playing, and there was a part where the entire hall went pitch black except for one circular light behind her as she started singing an a cappella, and my jaw fucking dropped so hard it ended up on the other side of the earth. Another example would be her previous concert, Sync Reversible Reaction Float. Reversible reaction? The setlist played on like waves, with a few calm songs followed by a few hype songs and back to calm songs and so on. Obviously there are far more details that you'd have to appreciate in person, but this is the gist of what I mean by artistic sense, and as somebody who really appreciates this side of extra effort, it's not just her godly voice but her absolute creativity in every live that makes me leave every venue in awe. Her YouTube channel is full of her music with amazingly produced MVs, both animated and in person, so if you have the time, please check her music out. It's so good. The message I'm trying to get across here is even somebody that's supposed to have voice actor labeled as her official career is a ridiculously amazing artist that, in my opinion, rivals even the top of the top. That is the level of quality and effort somebody who is technically on paper thought more of as a seiyu than an artist by the general public can reach. Okay, no, I lie, that was just a fucking fanboying episode. What I'm really trying to say is, Fuck all you people who only started fanboying over her for Makima. You're a few years too early. I've been here for years. I'll fucking gatekeep you. So now that we're done with the singing side of things, no, we're not done with the singing side of things. We're still missing one of the most prominent kinds of seiyu, idol seiyu. Alright, let's play a quick game. You just have to answer with either yes or no. Are these idols? No, they're DJs. Are these idols? No, they're a girls band. Are these idols? No, they're not idols. They're school idols. Okay, so basically they're kinda idols, but not really idols, but it's kind of related to idol culture. It's like fish. They kind of exist, but not really as a species. Fish don't exist, but there are fish in the sea. Fish. This is a whole new world called 2.5D, and it is massive in Japan, boasting some of the highest profiting anime franchises to this very day. Anime that belong in this genre are generally idol anime, idol-themed anime, or at the very least have something to do with music. So what does Seiyuu have to do with 2.5D? Did we have a scientific breakthrough to merge dimensions? Can I finally marry my waifu? Is the earth finally flat? Well, no, and no. But we do have cosplayers. Cosplaying themselves. Fucking narcissist. 2.5D refers to multimedia franchises that have content and relevance to both the 2D and 3D world. 2D obviously refers to the anime and bankruptcy speedrun gacha games, but the 3D part is where things heat up. See, there are many anime fans I've seen, even fans of these specific anime that are obsessed with the anime, yet somehow they stay trapped in their own two-dimensional box not knowing there's a Z-axis out there, and there is so much this 3D side has to offer. Franchises such as Love Live, Idolmaster, and OnStars have their seiyuu perform on stage as their characters in full-blown, highly produced concerts in one form or another. Some of them use holograms in a similar fashion to VTubers, but many of them have the actual seiyuu perform, fully dressed up in their character's outfit, singing and performing in their character's voice. Idol franchises might even have the seiyuu dance to the exact choreography shown in the anime as the anime plays on the huge screen in the background. To the bigger franchises with money to flaunt, it doesn't stop there. Stages are set up to look like their anime counterparts, props are incorporated into dances to further increase immersion into this anime-like concert world, and fucking hell, the fire! Hiya! Committing arson has never been this cool. I think you can see why it's called 2.5D now. The 3D seiyuu pull their audience into a world as close as you can get in the 2D world, creating this unique amalgamation of dimensions you can't find anywhere else, let alone concerts. So basically, anime is real now. VTubers and this? Japan is the one country I trust to one day allow their population to marry anime girls. Oh. This 2.5D thing isn't just limited to idol activities though. Band Dream has their seiyuu actually play the band instruments. D4DJ ripped the term voice actor out of the dictionary and turned seiyus into DJs. Revenue Starlight took cute girls doing war things a little bit too seriously. Love Live has a motherfucking boat. So yes, the sky is the limit. You can do anything your creativity and wallet desires to your heart's content. Pride of Orange was an ice hockey anime with lives. Maybe you'll get ice hockey concert matches. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll have genocide concerts, introducing cute girls doing crime things but in real life. I've brought up all these ideas that sound like they were come up by some high guy 2 years into acid, and I still feel like I've barely scratched the surface. I cannot stress enough that 2.5D is huge in Japan. This is not just a gimmick. This is an established idea that has proved time and again that it works and brings in the cash. It wouldn't be exaggerating to say that many seiyuu have had their entire careers built through 2.5D anime and concerts, especially the non-mainstream ones who haven't had a steady foothold in voice acting. Newbies have gotten tens or even hundreds of thousands of followers with a simple cast reveal. Money from Sims rival even some of the most well-known shonen franchises, unless you're Demon Slayer. And the bigger franchises have been able to have multiple dome performances with a live audience topping 50k people. It is such a huge and essential part of seiyuu culture. Unfortunately, the lack of presence of idol culture in the West has led to this amazing side of anime and seiyuu culture to be relatively unknown, which is a shame because some of these are genuinely some of the most creative concert concepts I've ever seen. Oh, it's also Japan's fault though. It's a fucking bitch to get tickets. You need a Japanese phone number and there's a lottery system to get tickets, and by the time you get your ticket, you wonder if raising a child for 20 years would have been an easier life task. Honestly, for its scale, 2.5D is probably deserving of its own video, but for now, I'll leave it here. What I do hope you can take away from this though, is this is not a world for idol fans. There are tons of amazingly creative, well-executed ideas, so if you're someone who appreciates creativity, wants a more immersive experience to one of your favorite music anime, or is just looking for some banger concerts, then I do highly recommend giving it a go. Some concerts can be watched live online even if you're not in Japan. Just don't go down the rabbit hole. It's deep. I would understand. Trust me. You'll understand when you buy 30 copies of the same CD for concert lottery tickets. Now that we're finally done with the singing side of things, we can move on to the billion other things Seiyuu do. Voice acting characters and singing is great and all, but that doesn't really give the Seiyuu, him or herself, a chance to, well, talk about themselves. They might as well be this mysterious figure who nails all the jobs and disappears into the night. The dream scenario of an edgy 14-year-old who unironically quotes effin' lead. This is where the old radio comes in. Many Seiyuu have their own radio shows they host all about them. Yes, them. They're the star of the show, the spotlight in the dark, the wagyu of the meat. Sorry, I'm hungry. This is where you go if you want to hear the Seiyuu you love so much talk as their natural selves, and they sometimes delve into the more personal aspects of their lives, such as telling past stories and experiences. Many of them are weekly, and some Seiyuu even host multiple radio shows with different themes, making it the prime opportunity to get to know them a bit better if you're interested. You can send in letters to the radio, and if you're lucky, they'll read it on air. In the case that happens, you're permitted temporary happiness. Just be careful of a jealous bastard showing up at your door with a kitchen knife one night. Different shows have many corners where they play different games or just generally talk about different topics. The cool thing is, a lot of this is fan driven. Fans get to suggest names, they get to suggest corners, suggest topics and games. So if you're a weekly listener, you really do start to get invested and feel like a part of it. You naturally blend it in as weekly entertainment. If you're not convinced yet, then they suffer on radio. Like suffering, right? Punishment games like eating bugs. Yeah, the screams of horror music to your ears, right? Can torture be entertaining? What the fuck? All of this is just their personal radio shows though. Anime radio shows can be a beast of their own. Seiyuu still talk about their natural selves occasionally, but usually there are multiple hosts and often discussions will revolve around the corresponding anime. So what I'm really trying to say is you can get excited Takina ear rape. Some radios have more normal conversations, some have Ayane Sakura being a psychopath, and some are Kaguya-sama. I've skimmed through many anime radio clips out of interest, but goddamn is Kaguya-sama something different. This is peak comedy. This fucking radio is built around fans bullying the ever-living shit out of Kaguya and Chika Seiyuu. Oh, and there's wanting to become udon flour to be stepped on, sending people to jail, and the fan went to Sanrio Puroland and did a dogeza publicly to apologize to Keroppi-sama. Reality can truly bring peak entertainment. One more thing to mention is, radios are usually recorded and released, but for both personal and anime radio, they sometimes have full-blown live radio shows with a live audience. And goddamn, will you feel right at home if you get all the inside jokes and blend in with the community. It's kinda like YouTube. You get invested in a creator and it becomes a friendship simulator. God, fucking young people these days and their online parasocial relationships. Human interactions is ruined. Anyway, I'd love to more. If you're looking to get into Seiyuu Radio, there are plenty of wonderful dedicated fans translating clips, or sometimes fans who found their life purpose translating hundreds of episodes of the entire goddamn weekly radio. And hey, if you become a fan, feel free to send fan letters to their email. It's fine if you don't know Japanese, just do it in English. People have done it before. They really appreciate overseas fans. Oh, and also watching Japanese people butcher the English language will never not be funny to me. Is torture legal in Japan? It's cute though. Beating the dead horse called voice actor once again, Seiyuu are quite frequently involved in modeling work for one reason or another. It could be for a magazine cover, it could be for some brand promotion, it could be cosplaying their own character. Anything goes. One of the most popular Seiyuu-centered magazines is Seiyuu Grand Prix well, it's popular enough for Grand Prix to pop out automatically. You have a really nicely shot cover of a seiyu, and the inside is full of stuff seiyu geeks love, like detailed interviews, anime talk, and sometimes some spicy gravure. To the seiyu who are really comfortable with their face, well, to be fair, most of them are quite good looking, they release photo books. What is a photo book, you may ask? It's a book full of photos. Basically, it's a collection of many really nice photos with a seiyu in many really nice outfits in many really nice locations. Loot meter can scale from very fashionable models to holy shit, I cannot show this on YouTube. But this just depends on how comfortable the seiyu is doing it. If you thought Japanese people have drip, then these seiyu have fucking torrential rainwater because god damn are they stylish. A quick peek at some Seiyuu Grand Prix covers already show you the style and how varied they are in picking outfits, let alone their individual photo books. I swear they all have some fabric fetish instinct. Surely modeling can't be easy. If it was me, I'd just put on a Uniqlo shirt looking like the NPC that dies in the first 10 minutes as terror bait. Speaking of my best friend Uniqlo, I mentioned occasionally Seiyuu model as promos for brands, usually for clothing brands, although this is on the rarer side. See, it's a trade offer. Seiyuu gets beautiful pictures, brand recognition, and money, and you get overpriced clothes, a negative bank account, and increased sim powers. It's a win-win! That is, until you look up the price of some of these Seiyu's personal wear and realize that you'd have to sell a testicle, a liver, and your wife to be able to afford a piece of cloth. The modeling side of Seiyuu honestly might be bigger than you expect because I don't think I've seen a single big Seiyuu not be on some magazine cover. The photo books are definitely not as mainstream though, they're more for superfans. If you have a Seiyuu you simp, then maybe simp more. To simp or not to simp? That is the question. It is to simp, unless you rent a girlfriend. Then fuck yourself. Now we're starting to move on to some of the more obscure Seiyuu content. Being public figures, making videos is something as expected as a baby pissing in your face. So naturally, a lot of Seiyuu have YouTube channels. How seriously they take YouTube greatly varies though. Many simply use it as a promo for whatever they want to shill, being run more as a corporate kind of channel, but some Seiyuu legitimately make YouTube videos that, well, feel like YouTube videos. The content, the ideas, editing, you can feel the passion they have, and some of them, proven over time, do take it quite seriously. For all you English people, Uchida Shu and Sally Amaki are both bilinguals that speak fluent English who also create cute, entertaining content. Kohara Konomi's recently started a YouTube channel and is doing quite well with fascinating ideas, consistent uploads, and your favorite subtitles in English and 15 billion other languages. I think national fucking television has less subtitle options at this speed. Hanae Natsuki has the ungodly schedule of a full-time gaming YouTuber. Actually, no, fuck that. He is a fucking gaming YouTuber. Man's got the thumbnail and screaming on point. Man's Uno game with other Seiyuu is legendary. Please have a look. Of course, in your favorite of the 15 billion language subtitle options. So yes, congratulations, your Seiyuu addiction has gone full circle and now you've added another layer to your YouTube addiction. But let's be honest, what's another 5 hours at 60 hours of weekly watching time? Following YouTube comes some very obscure content. See, quite a few Seiyuu have their own paywalled programs, predominantly on Nico Nico, which if you don't know is, let's just call it Japanese YouTube that never figured out the meaning behind the word UI. Okay, well technically it's half paywalled. You can usually watch the first half for free. So what are these programs? Well, yeah, they do things. They do things. Like play games, and you pay to watch half hour a month. So it's OnlyFans. This is honestly the corner you're probably only ever gonna get hauled into if you're actually addicted to a certain Seiyuu and crave content. I will give them credit for pretty interesting game ideas and sometimes fancy costumes though. And what's more, they sometimes send you presents for being a loyal subscriber. Presents such as an eraser. No, seriously. I subscribed to one of these. I opened my mailbox one day and there was an eraser the size of half my finger and a thank you message. God, I sure got my money's worth. Alright, so everything I mentioned in this part is gonna be either pretty obscure or just little things that don't exactly make up a huge part of a Seiyu's job, but I still want to quickly go over and introduce them. In other words, we're having a speedrun corner. So, A lot of Seiyuu have fan clubs. You pay a monthly fee, get exclusive content such as small talking corners, photos, videos, whatever they can pull out of their ass as content, and the best part, usually a much easier access to concert tickets. Life is pay to win, scrubs. Sometimes they may even have fan club events, and do things, and sing. As you may know from anime, Japanese schools have culture festivals, so as celebrities standing at the top of the hierarchy, Seiyuu get invited to culture festivals to give talks, especially the larger scale university ones. Why? I don't know, cute girl gives motivation? To scam broke university students money? To give a glimmer of fake hope in the endless despair of engineering university life? It's that, isn't it? We're just living life to work a dead-end office job single forever until we die. A cooler side of Seiyuu work are the voiced anime collabs. Yeah, you have the generic cafes, but collabs can be so much more than that. One of the coolest I personally saw was the Gotobun collab with Fuji-Q Highland, one of Japan's biggest theme parks for extreme roller coasters. Other than feeling the air gods drag the G-force out of my soul, I really enjoyed hearing the special voices played in the theme park. Each of the designated roller coasters had one of the quints voice all the usual announcer stuff like line up, get in the roller coaster, put baggage in a safe place, take off shoes, get ready to die, bend over for pegging. And at the end of the day, they even had the quints do the theme park has closed, thank you for coming announcements and everything. As a Gotobun and Seiyuu fan, peak content. I'd let Nino drug me and tie me to a roller coaster while laughing sadistically any day of the week. Then we have the big boys, the motherfucker I have made it sign, being on TV, and probably being clowned on by your family. Bigger Seiyuu have been invited onto TV programs, like actually being on TV, for various reasons. Could be to flex as a Demon Slayer Seiyuu, could be to introduce to the normies the insane skills of a Seiyuu, could be for clout. It's for clout she's flexing. Some Seiyuu also start to shift towards the stage play industry, doing musicals and stuff. I am already terrified of live action, so I think All Might singing and dancing about his death would traumatize whatever brain space I have left. Then there's also the movie dubbing side. Some Seiyuu still shift there. I wonder if the actors are just as hot. Fuck me, they're actors, I should have known. Seeing English films with anime voice acting is so funny. And finally, we have what I call the random bullshit go. Anime is weird, man. Japan is weird, man. They've done everything on some program, anime related or not. Haunted house, tournament arc, bowling in sunglasses, human assault, live gang banging. I've seen it all! What the fuck is a Seiyuu? It is the stockpile of talent to tell the untalented, unskilled a single condensed message. Cope. After that clusterfuck of careers taken on by Seiyuu, you may ask, how in God's name is a functioning human supposed to keep up with this shit? This is like 5 full-time jobs to be a fan. That's the best part. They don't. Well, sane people don't. You might remember me saying the perception of Seiyuu in Japan being overwhelmingly positive as a highly respected job, and while that holds true, I think it's safe to split people into 2 categories. Normal people and fans. I think you know which one I am. What you have to keep in mind is while the profession Seiyuu is a widely known thing, their activities other than voice acting are still relatively niche. A random person in the general public is going to know Demon Slayer, and there's a decent chance they know Hanae Natsuki and Hito Akari, but rarely will they look into the specific details of their career. It's just, ah yes, the Tanjiro guy, very cool man. It's like when someone tells you they're an electric engineer. It sounds like a cool, highly respected job, and you do respect it, but you don't know what they specifically do. It's like, I see your job is engineering electricity, I think. Alternatively, even if they know, in a similar fashion to the West, there are plenty of people who only care about the anime characters or the character's voice, but not the Seiyuu him or herself. They get invested in the anime, not the people behind it, so there isn't a reason to follow the Seiyuu's personal activities. Think of all the celebrities you might recognize the name of and vaguely know what they are, but don't exactly know the details of what they do. Now amplify that to the moon and we have the Seiyuu situation. I say amplify because at the scale of some of their widespread popularity, you might be surprised at how relatively small and unknown everything else they do is. That's why we have the second category. Fans. These are the people that religiously follow their Seiyuu as if following the Messiah. New songs are listened to frame 1, every pixel of the photo book is analyzed like a Twitter user, and they are definitely the type of people to pay to get shot in the dick. Is life this easy if you have no standards? Okay, I exaggerate, but you get the point. If they go a level beyond anime fan, then it's already a seal of dedication. It's not too bad if you only really like one or two seiyu, but when you stare at the abyss stares back at you, and before you know it, your schedule is booked 12 hours a day. These are the people that are genuinely invested in the seiyu as a personality, so they plunge themselves into a rabbit hole rivaling the VTuber one. Now, question for you. How would you distinguish between a normal person and a fan? Their intelligence level? Correct. What they call the seiyu. If they add something san at the end of the seiyu's name, then they're just a normal person or a casual enjoyer of their voice, music, radio, and all that. If they use strange nicknames such as Hayamin, Akarin, Emiliatan, then they have stage 10 terminal cringe and are a fucking lost cause. Honestly, you should start preparing for their funeral. It's too late. How do I prepare my own funeral? Can I just write a will but say transfer my money to me? Seiyu culture has always had some level of relation with the idol culture, for better or worse. Perhaps influenced by 2.5D, perhaps influenced by their perfect image, but it is a fact that there is some level of idealism going on here. But because of the diversity in the types of seiyu, it's got itself in this strange position where how entangled it is with idol culture completely depends on each individual seiyu and the image they have built up for themselves in their fanbase. The best comparison I can think of here is VTubers. Come on guys, VTubing is just permanent voice acting. There are 759 trillion VTubers today, and all of them have their own style. Some fully play a character, some choose to be more open about themselves, some do the girlfriend role-playing thing, some are eternal shitposters, some have never heard of a bedsheet, some want to fuck Bowser. Are you guys okay there? Rest assured, you won't find anything this weird in the Seiyuu world. It is as the famous Twitch quote goes, chat reflects the streamer. What kind of audience you gain completely depends on the image you go for and how you present yourself. A shitposting VTuber is gonna find an audience of memers. A girlfriend roleplaying VTuber is gonna get an army of simps. A sexy British man is gonna get 2 armies of simps. If British people existed. This exact logic applies to Seiyuu as well, albeit maybe slightly less diversified seeing how uptight professional the industry is compared to internet people. A Mimi Seiyuu might attract an audience that likes bullying her. A cool, calm Seiyuu might command respect. A fish Seiyuu might attract fish perverts. It's all the same in the entertainment world. It's a small world after all. If you know anything about idol culture, it's the fucking ridiculous no dating rule. With a case-by-case study, observing how much of this rule seeps into the Seiyuu side is quite fascinating. Over time, it sometimes gets revealed that a Seiyuu got married, or some fucking paparazzi starts dating gossip. What I realized looking at several of these cases is, the level of backlash really depended on what kind of Seiyuu he or she is.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
I'm not gonna bring up any specific person or cases because I don't want to bring up past drama, but the bottom line is, image is everything. Marketing class is just a manipulation class. Those bastards. It's not how they marketed my worst nightmare, Semen Slayer. When I say image, I pose a very specific question. How close is this person hovering from the idol girlfriend image? If it's far, then nice, she can mostly live her life in peace with a mostly supportive fan base and most likely live like a normal human being. If it's close, then going to the police station with 50 restraining orders prepared is highly recommended. Any announcement would get some level of backlash, unjustly so, but I definitely notice the Seiyuu who are strongly connected to 2.5D idols to be flamed more. Literally. It's so sad, and I feel really bad for the Seiyuu, but watching these idol-obsessed otaku having a full-blown mental breakdown, writing a 10-page thesis on Twitter, and setting their $500k idol merch collection on fire because their idol got married can be so funny to me. Don't worry, I believe most Japanese people, weeb or not, to find these people to be the crazies. There's a popular meme image used for replying to marriage announcements and stuff, saying "shiawase nara okay, it's fine if they're happy." As you can see, the Seiyuu image is certainly a bizarre one. They're superstar popular and only decently popular at the same time, and then we still have to play with an idol skill, which almost feels like a character of its own. I guess the best thing I can say is, some come for the character, some come for the person, but no matter why you come, just come. As As we've established at the beginning of the video, the seiyu industry is a highly respected and popular one. So of course, with any respected, popular job comes competition. It is an extremely competitive industry. And by competitive, I literally mean I think you'd have a better chance surviving a gun up your ass. The odds of you getting somewhere is fucking brutal. The first thing you have to keep in mind is you have to be multi-talented. They do everything. It's no longer a game of being the best you can at one thing. Singing is fucking essential to get anywhere. Dancing gives a huge edge for the widely marketable 2.5D idol anime. Being good looking certainly helps your odds for magazine photoshoots and the number of people willing to simp you. Your face is the ad, am I right? Gotta be an entertaining personality too, because who doesn't know how to host a radio show? Actually, fuck the radio, that's like the minimum requirement. The bottom line, who doesn't know how to be entertaining both on camera and live? It's just talking. What are you, not a top tier entertainer? Take a few lessons from entertainer Jake Paul. And in the entertainment industry, unless you're my man Matsuoka Kirito, you better have social skills, you better know how to talk, you better not be a bocchi. You get what I mean? I can barely make dinner properly, and these people are expected to be top tier talented in multiple fields that possibly take years to master. So to be this talented at your job, surely the pay is ungodly. Surely the year you make your career boom is the year you can buy a private jet and fly across Antarctica to flex. Surely you can just buy out the fucking Fortnite franchise so I can fucking delete this monstrosity from existence. Surely you can satisfy all your sexual desires and fuck the sexy Justin Bieber. No. While we don't know the specifics, again, just like with aspiring actors, everyone who still doesn't have a major or stable role is kinda... let's just say living the broke student life, working 3 jobs while hoping to their precious gacha they land a role. You hear stories about the big seiyus binmo jidai, or in other words, just stories of when they were poor. The stories of doing part-times, the stories of considering switching careers if they didn't get a certain role, years of doubting whether they'd actually get anywhere in life. The uncountable, questionable life choices just for a chance to shine. There was a legendary man who ate grass with mayonnaise. No, not vegetables. Like, you go on the street, like grass. Man's stomach really touched grass that day. And the thing is, even if you do make it big, the pay is good, but it seems like peanuts compared to any other form of celebrities like YouTubers or actors. The top, and I mean absolute top people, still make well less than $1 million USD a year. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money, but the number 1 person in such an established industry? I think Mr. Beast makes more in a week. Competition is off the roof as well, with so many people as your so-called competitors wanting to become seiyu, and needing the skills to out-audition the top veterans you've probably looked up to for so long to even get somewhere. If motherfucking Kaji Yuki Eren Yeager fails 95% of his auditions, what the fuck is your newbie-ass's success rate? I have a better chance at making dinner without burning the kitchen down. This is where you start to see some of the instability and unsustainability if you aren't one of the big hits, especially long-term, since it's rarely a job you can actually do until old age. But then you look back and wonder, why the fuck do so many people want to be seiyu? It's super tough mentally, the average pay is near McDonald's toilet cleaner, and frankly, with this absurd competition and needing to deal with the pains of being a public figure, I think the English teachers are staring at pity. At least they can fuck in peace. Are people really trying to dive into a career with a negative success rate, negative sustainability, and negative pay? Yes. And honestly, I can see why. I understand why seiyu is so looked up to, especially by children here. I'm not someone who particularly wants to be one, but I certainly admire them and I understand the feeling. Imagine being born as an average Japanese kid in a modest household. In an introverted society, you're just another shy, quiet mob. Life is quite peaceful, but hey, as a 5-year-old, you don't know any better. All you know is going to the TV and enjoying your banger anime. Perhaps it's an electrifying Pokemon battle, perhaps it's another episode full of Doraemon antics, or maybe it's a new cute transformation in Tokyo Mew Mew. Either way, who cares? It's amazing entertainment, and seeing the power of friendship really sparked a flame in your heart. Every week is exciting. What's there not to love? The future. Fast forward a decade or so and you realize you're alone. Many people around you have already moved past anime, yet here you are staying up every night, catching it live on TV. You walk home alone as the school bell rings, not a soul aware of your presence. Is it your looks? Your awkward personality? Your strange anime hobbies? Nothing changes the fact that you are lonely. You don't have a single friend. You don't have a partner to share your passion. Or do you? See, ever since a young age, you've always looked up to these anime characters. A hero of justice saving the world, a cute magical girl standing tall and proud, unlike you. Their words, their actions, it moved your heart. It still does to this day. Their voice, it rings in your head. Yes, the voices that shaped you to be who you are today. And so you start looking up to these people who play these characters. No, the people that are these characters. A question lingers within you. Can I be like that one day too? Can I move somebody's heart with my words, my voice, my passion? You take an interest in voice acting and start getting into Seiyuu. You start listening to your favorite Seiyu's radio because, hey, who wouldn't want to learn more about the person they admire? You hear stories of them being alone on a university culture festival day, anime they loved as a kid, Seiyuu they looked up to as a teenager, and you come to a realization, am I not just like them? If I work hard, maybe one day I'll be able to express myself through what I love so much, anime. One day, somebody will look at me, somebody will hear my voice, my character, and say, I want to be like that one day. And so you start your voice acting training. Whether you make it or not, only destiny knows. Obviously, this story is a huge generalization, but what I wanted to express through this story is how passion-driven the Seiyuu industry is. There are many reasons people want to become Seiyuu. Perhaps it's your love for anime, your admiration towards a Seiyuu, your will to change yourself through a form of expression. But the point is, passion is the absolute fuel of these aspiring Seiyuu. It was never about the pay. The pay is shit. Go back to your business degree if you want money. And if you wanted fame, surely doing YouTube or some other social media is way easier than this minimum wage hell. Just drive a car off a cliff or something. That'll make you famous. Every person who is trying to take this path seriously is truly passionate about anime and voice acting. It is this amazing outlet to express yourself through a form of content, a form of art. And to some, this expression is an attempt to change their lonely, useless self. In a way, it is very similar to YouTube back in the day. Money was never a topic. Why the fuck would you be able to make money through making videos? It was simply a way for creators to express themselves, to say something if you had a message to convey to the world. A purely passion-driven website which built up an ecosystem of people being inspired by creators, then becoming creators themselves that inspires others. It was a beautiful spiral that birthed some of the most iconic videos, memes, and creators known to this day. And then capitalism happened. And by that I mean British people happen. On the topic of money, in a very ironic sense, I think it's the relatively low pay that keeps these Seiyuu so relatable. You look at motherfucking Kanye West and it's like, so how many private jet parties do you want for your next birthday? Traditional Western celebrities are so far off in their own world that relatability was never something they ever banked on for their success. You relate more to the slug hiding under the leaf. But most Seiyuu are very grounded. Yes, they may be famous people, they may know more about the anime industry insides than you ever will, they may be the star that looks impossible to reach, but when you hear some of their stories, you realize, oh, they're just normal people like us. They're just people doing their best at a job they're passionate about. They shared and share the same struggles. The smaller ones are on the grind, smiling, talking, singing, trying to make this month's rent money. Nobody's flexing their 50 cars or 79 vacation homes. We live in the same world. And while I have zero proof, I do really think that this is part of the reason why Seiyuu is such a popular, respected career. It was never about the money. It was about the passion. The very same passion your 5-year-old self felt watching your favorite anime. God, I love Seiyuu. So now that we've looked at Seiyuu culture from 10 different angles, you might be wondering, where the fuck do I even begin? This is a clusterfuck. Kingdom Hearts fans are shivering in their rat's corner. See, it may look complicated, but it's not that bad if you study up. Alright, I know throwing the entire encyclopedia in your face in one go is a bit daunting, so here's some quick advice. Get good. There are two ways you can get into Seiyuu. The natural way and the VTuber way. And by VTuber way, I mean clicking on one interesting Seiyuu clip and permanently changing your algorithmic YouTube home recommendation. You know who you are, you don't need my help, you're 5 years deep. If you have no idea where to start and hold some interest, I would suggest just looking up the voices behind some of your favorite anime and anime characters. Whether it's because you like their idly singing voice, charming antics, or insane emotional screaming performance, doesn't really matter. Literally just copy-paste their name into the YouTube search bar. YouTube search bar, not Google. Google can be an info dump. Generally what you'll find is their YouTube channel, if they actually have a presence, some singing, and many clips, with classics such as Ida Rikako and her 80-year-old false teeth idol group. Introducing Denture Idols. With a private healthcare insurance and $20k, you too can get dental surgery at an idol concert as your best girl's grandma spits on you. Honestly, from here on out, just click on any of the YouTube videos that interest you. Insane stories, insane singing, insane teeth, there's bound to be something for you. And hey, if nothing catches your eye, then search some other Seiyuu. Just remember that there isn't any chronological watch order, there's no person you have to get into, there's no proper way to experience it, don't let the fake fans get in your head. So never feel pressure to watch anything. You can watch as much or as little as you want, with zero continuity consequences. There's nothing wrong with staying a casual fan to watch the occasional funny clip in your feed. But if you've been listening to a certain Seiyuu's music for a while and vibe with their personality, then you can consider the next step. The credit card. When you feel intimate enough with somebody's content, it makes sense to want to support their hard work. Perhaps buying a CD or photo book to your collection. Maybe hang a poster and delusionally trick your mom into thinking she's your girlfriend. Having physical goods feel good. Generally, you unfortunately might have to import a lot of this from Japan, so most of the people I know use a proxy service called Tensol. It should be pretty easy to set up. Alternatively, you can use sites such as CD Japan for further simplicity, though shipping fees might cost a fucking mortgage. On the topic of bankrupting yourself though, if you enjoy their personal music, I highly recommend you to check if they have concerts and if the concerts have paid streaming. Even through a screen, a concert's a concert, man. I don't have to tell you, it's fucking good. Actually, you watch VTubers, right? You're used to online concerts, right? Right? Please say yes so I don't feel left out. The only difficulty here might be the fact that the websites are mostly in Japanese, but you should be able to fumble your way through with the mighty meme, Google Translate. If you get to this point, you're probably already a solid dedicated fan, but if you want to take a step into hell and challenge Satan himself, then let me tell you a little tale about the terminal illness known as broke simping. This is the mind of a mere little fan. So... Oh, you're a Seiyuu fan. Impressive. Let us compare. Do you wake up and stare at your million-yen Seiyuu infested room first thing in the morning? It's natural that you watch every anime she's in, but how about the anime radios? Of course you do. It's only 5 weekly anime and radio episodes. That's nothing. The live streams too, right? Surely you also loop their songs a minimum 10 hours a day. As you know, people need money to support their work. Do you buy everything they release? Everything! Every poster, every t-shirt, you must at least have the minimum barrier 20 books of bromide. If they sell water bottles, you buy. If they sell shoelaces, you buy. If they sell shit-stained underwear, you buy it for double the price. If they sell drugs with saliva bonus, you buy them for triple the price. And if she releases a photo book or my favorite, can badges, I must take 200 copies and fucking carry the paper and metal industry single-handedly. And this is my prized possession. A $500 signed acrylic stand. What a fucking steal. Eating was overrated anyway. Every concert I buy up to 20 seats so that I can choose the best one for myself and see the goddess descend on this measly earth with my own eyes. Flying to Japan 20 times a year. Of course, the other seats are left empty. And if she streams, I must super chat 3 months worth of rent so that she says my name once. It's not about me, it's about her lip movements. I listen to her voice so much I can recognize it through the smallest sound effects at -100 dB. A laugh, a sneeze, swallowing saliva. My brain is an Audacity program that can analyze the sound wave frequency and identify the sound DNA of the person. One day I will reach true evolution and be able to detect cell movement. What? You don't do any of this? You fucking fake fan. I bet you wouldn't even lick her shoes. Go back to society. So I know this has been said a lot over the internet, but if you really do get super into Seiyuu, Don't do anything weird, yeah? I don't think I have to elaborate on this. You don't want to be the ugly bastard of the doujin. You don't want to be the Kazuya of the story. And my gacha comrades and I can make as many loan shark jokes as pieces of bread you've eaten in your life, but I think it's pretty obvious that if you get really into this can be a huge money sink and it can be easy to lose track of yourself. It's nice to support who you look up to, but don't dump money in a gasoline fire. It's as the wise VTubers say, prioritize your own life first. Because if you go fucking broke simping, I take no responsibility. Okay, I know I pretty much made a fucking 1 hour advertisement without being paid a single cent, but it's not my fault, is it? You can't blame the messenger for the king's fault. Oof. Seiyu culture is a huge branch of the anime culture that I deeply love. With so many talented people and so many forms of content, I truly think that not only does the diversity give a little something for everyone, but it is also an extremely unique face of the entertainment industry that can't be replicated by any other. This passion-driven industry is one that I often look at in admiration, one that is full of amazing, multi-talented people that juggle 5 different things on an average Tuesday. Inspired by their work, I am someone who has looked up to these people for years, and I don't think it would be an exaggeration to say that these people have genuinely changed my life. From the bottom of my heart, these Seiyu's works have given me so much happiness, and without them, I can easily say that I wouldn't be where I am in life today. I'm so happy to have discovered this side of the anime world, and I will definitely continue loving and supporting them for years to come. I love Seiyuu so much.